Hi friends, this is Joe, and this is episode number 169 of the Decahedron RPG podcast. And today we're going to talk about Traveller some more. I talked about it last week in episode 168. I talked about how there was a new book coming out and how I was kind of excited, and I asked some questions. And BJ Boyd called in with a comment, and we're going to listen to that right now. Take it away, BJ.
Hey Joe, this is BJ from the Arcane Alienist. I'm glad you are excited about the new Traveller Pirates book. I have not really delved that deeply into classic Traveller. I've played the current Mongoose Traveller. I've ran it and played it. I'm playing Carl's game that you mentioned. You talked about somebody kept, doing another round of their life pass trying to get that one skill, and then they wind up getting their character killed before anybody gets it, and it's essential. One thing that Mongoose's current Traveller does, they have an optional rule. I can't remember if it's listed as an optional rule in the core rule book or if it's in like the Traveller Companion, but it is, you kind of decide as a group what sort of campaign you're looking at. You're going to be playing, free traders, you're going to be playing spies, you're going to be playing pirates or adventurers, whatever the case may be. And you get a list of skills that are kind of essential to that genre or that type of campaign. And then you go through the character creation, and at the end, if there's a skill on that list that nobody has, then you just give it to one of the players to give to their characters to make sure it's there. So if you got through an entire round of character generation and nobody has the pilot skill, you would just say, okay, who's going to be the pilot? And the one time I did that when I was running a game, we had enough skills to kind of, I think all but one player basically got a free skill just to round out the competencies of the crew. So that seems like as long as you've got skills identified in any version of Traveller or really any kind of role-playing game, I think that's something you might be able to import in and just say for the purposes of the kind of game we're going to play, somebody has to be able to do this, somebody has to be able to do that, somebody has to be able to do the other thing, and let's just do our regular character creation. If it turns out nobody has it, let's nominate someone to get that as a bonus skill. Anyway, great episode. I'll talk to you later.
Thanks for that, BJ. By the way, everyone, BJ Boyd is the host of the Arcane Alienist podcast. It's another gaming podcast. It's pretty good stuff. Lately, he's been doing some solo roleplay stuff and then making a narrative out of it. It's been very interesting. I like it. So, BJ, as for the Traveller stuff, thanks for that. I guess the first thing is, that's a pretty good rule. Alternate rule, suggested rule, optional rule. That's the word I'm looking for. If I were to do it, though, I think maybe I would do it the other way around. And instead of wait until after character generation is done, I would say choose before we start rolling. Okay, we're going to be doing like a merchant type campaign, so we need a pilot and a navigator and maybe a gunner or two and an engineer, maybe a medic. Who wants to be what? Why leave that up to the dice? And then later on, especially if later on you're just going to say, well, the dice didn't give us what we want, so let them pick amongst themselves. And if they can't pick, if everybody wants to be a pilot, just dice it off real quick. Okay, Fred and George both want to be pilots. Roll 2d6. Whoever gets higher, bam, you're the pilot. So you have to pick your second choice. But most groups I've been with, they'd be able to pick. They'd be able to decide for themselves who's going to be what. The other direction I wanted to go for that is that there is this fan article called Revised Character Creation for Classic Traveller, and it's based on Book 1, Characters in Combat of Traveller, and Supplement 4, Citizens of the Imperium, which I've talked about before as being one of the books that I like a lot for Traveller. It gives you alternate background things like pirates and doctors and wet navy or nobles. That's what I would like to see for book 9 is nobles. Growing up in America, I don't quite understand the noble thing. Even from my time living in England, I don't understand the noble thing. I mean, I understand that there are people who have these hereditary titles and they're called barons, but in a modern 21st century or 20th century, when I was living there in the UK, it didn't seem to have any other baron other than they had this title of baron. I don't get it. In this fan product, revised character creation, what they did is they took, you know, on the charts where it says pilot, they took that off. Where it says engineer, they took that off. Where it says navigator, well, astrogator, they took that off. Engineer, they took that off. They took all those things off and they instead just put space, or was it crew, something like that. And they just made a cascade skill, and you would then pick which one you want. And for those that don't know Traveller, a cascade skill is during combat you will roll something like gun. And Traveller doesn't have a gun skill, they have a bunch of different gun skills. So when you roll gun, you get to pick what you want. Do you want shotgun? Do you want auto pistol? Do you want rifle? Whatever. And you would pick whichever matches your character best, your concept. And they do the same thing for those positions. So you roll space, and there's more of those now because we've combined all those. And so if you want that pilot, that's the one that you would pick from the list. And I think I would very much go that way. But then this whole thing brings us to this line of thought. If we're going to tell the tell the player, well, what do you want? Okay, you want to be the pilot, you want to be the engineer, you want to be the doctor. What's the benefit of going through the rest of that stuff? Why not just do like a GURP style character creation and let them pick what level of doctor they want to be? Let them pick what level of engineer they want to be. Or we could go the other way. We could go the Rhesus way or the shirts and skirts way. And we could just, well, the shirts and skirts way, we just say you're the engineer. And engineer is your class, your skill, your thing. And that's all there is to it. We could, in Rhesus, you just say, you know, your first cliche, you know, say you're a miracle worker engineer with a Scots accent. Bam, done. And that's, to me, so much simpler. I said before, basic simplicity, that's my thing. Narrative games, again, not narrative as in, this is the plot that we are going to follow, and you're just along to look at the ride. But narrative as in, we're going to have these adventures, and out of this, your character is going to come out with a story of the things that happened to them. That's what I call narrative play, and it's emergent storytelling, right? And I like that. That's what I go for most of all in a role-playing game. Yeah, so those are my thoughts. So while Mongoose's optional rule is a good rule, I like it. I think these other approaches are better. If you still want that classic lifestyle, that classic Traveller lifestyle feel, I think I would go for that fan document. I will see if I can find a link for it. I found it somewhere, Citizens of the Imperium maybe, I don't know. I will look around briefly, see if I can find a link. If so, I will put it in the show notes or down below, but don't hold your breath. That was years ago when I found it. But yeah, if I wanted to keep that classic Traveller life path character creation, I would go that way. But as fun as it is, I think a created character would be more fun, or do away with the survival roles and the re-enlistment roles, and at the beginning just have one role to say, hey, you did 3 terms, you did 4 terms, you did 1 term, whatever, and then go through them like that and save all that, and you can start having that concept in your mind. Yeah, that might be a neat way to do it. You know, roll 1 die to see how many terms you came up with. You did. Roll another die to see how many skills you got out of it, and then just put those skill points wherever you want. I like that a lot. Now, if you still want to do the life path for other things like promotions and stuff, which don't really come into play in the game, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. yeah, that's my thoughts. That's all I have. Kind of a short one this week. I will say, kind of off topic, that if you've been watching and saying, hey, where is the Tunnels and Trolls stuff you said you're going to do? Where's the Mega Monthly Review? And where is the combat example? They're coming. So what happened is that Jason of the Nerds RPG Variety Cast pointed out that April, just a few weeks away now, is the 50th anniversary of Tunnels and Trolls, and he and I are preparing some joint content, and I'm taking that stuff that I was going to do for Tunnels and Trolls, and I'm going to put it during the month of April. That means you still have about a week or so if you want to send me something for Tunnels and Trolls, because the Mega Monthly Review isn't very mega because it's only me and Jason. So if you want to send in comments for Tunnels and Trolls, send them the usual way. feedback@decahedron.com. Find me on Discord. Use the feedback line. It's in the show notes. It's up on screen right now if you're on YouTube. Yes, just send me your thoughts and I will add you to the show. There is time. Also, on another administrative note, I have picked up a signed copy of Mickey 7, which is the book that the movie Mickey 17 is based on. I work with a guy that wrote the book, and I asked him to sign the copy, and I will be giving away a copy on this show. But now that I co-produce on YouTube, YouTube has rules about giveaways, and I have to get up to snuff and find out what I need to do to be compliant with those rules before I run the giveaway on YouTube. And I thought about, that's too much work. I'll just do it on the podcast side and not worry about it. But I said that's not fair to the people that follow me on YouTube. So, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to educate myself on the rules. It will probably be something like you have to send me a Mega Monthly Review item for not Tunnels and Trolls, but whatever we're going to do after that. But like I said, I have to see what I'm allowed to do and not allowed to do on YouTube. I have nothing else to say. Short one this week. Thanks for watching and your listening. And until next time, happy gaming, happy life. Bye.